I'm driving one of the most advanced vehicles I've ever been in. It's incredible. Actually, I'm not driving. No one is. So I've come to Heathrow Terminal 5 to have a go in one of their pods. I don't even know what it is. That's a pod there. I don't know how to use it. Modern technology is really challenging. How do you use it? Oh my God. Please touch the screen to start. Where do I want to go? Station A. Go station A, yes, okay. Yeah. That's it. Just get in. That's it. Yeah. I mean, this is the first time I've been in one of these. This is absolutely brilliant because it's not a train.
It's not a train.
It's not a train, but it's
not a car.
No.
So what is it?
Yeah, what is it? Yes.
So we're in a pod.
Yeah.
We've got 21 of these pods at Heathrow. It's basically a driverless electric taxi. So you've got the benefits of a car, which is you and I have just got in when we wanted, on demand. But you've got the benefits of public transport, which is you're not clogging the roads up with cars. You're not clogging the roads up with CO2 or noise. You can hear it's, there's no noise.
Yeah.
It's running on a battery pack,
Right.
4 car batteries actually, smaller little electric motor, and the journey that we're going to take to Terminal 5 takes 5 minutes,
Right.
2 kilometres, and we're going to go at about 25 miles an hour once we
Right.
get to full speed. It doesn't stop, so we're not stopping to pick people up on the way.
No.
We're going point to point where we want to go, when we want to go, so we don't wait, and passengers love it.
And it's, I mean, what it's doing now is it is steering itself.
It's driving itself.
Yeah.
On the front and the back of the vehicle there are lasers.
Right.
And it's using those to bounce the signal off the side of the track to basically calibrate itself.
So there's not like magnets or rails there.
No magnets, no rails.
It's judging the distance and keeping that distance.
Absolutely.
Right.
If there's a little gust of wind, or if the tyre pressure's down, it'll keep continually calibrating all the way along.
Right. When you first see it arrive and you get in it, you think this feels like the future.
Yes.
Because it's sort of a bit like you've seen in science fiction movies where Schwarzenegger gets in the Johnny cab or whatever.
Absolutely. And we've had feedback from Heathrow customers about Blade Runner and Johnny Cab stuff and sci-fi. We've had some great feedback. Somebody said it was the best part of my journey.
The only facility in this country is here.
This is the only one in this country.
Yeah.
It's the only one at an airport in the world.
That's amazing that we've done that. I mean, I think we should be really proud of that.
Well, we are really proud. You can see me smiling.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled. But I mean, you'd think somewhere like Seattle or New York, they would have the latest of everything, and or Japan even, somewhere like that. But
this has been talked about for a while, but nobody's done it.
Right.
And we are the first really to deliver it on a scale.
Right.
There is a small little system out in the Middle East, but actually on a scale that we're doing it here, 21 vehicles, 4 kilometres of track, 1,500 passengers a day. Nobody's doing it on this scale.
Right.
So you're right, it is a UK first that we should be proud of.
Yeah.
So we're just about to arrive now. The nice lady's telling us that we're arriving. So now I say enjoy your flight.
Thank you. Now I'm getting out. So how long ago did the idea strike you?
Been thinking about the problem generally for a long time, decades.
Right.
The way we started was by talking to people and finding out what they wanted out of transport.
Right.
But the dominant things were time. And I actually had a complete solution, but I brought in a whole pile of graduates to go back through everything. Because when you have new ideas, it's very easy to have something which is wrong. When I started, I thought it'd be regularly powered by an internal combustion engine.
Right.
And in fact, my students said to me, "You can't possibly do that." And I realised that we could do it all with battery power.
Right. And when they come into the docking station, then there's those 2 points underneath. So it's physically connecting.
Yes.
And that's how it gets a charge.
So when I got into the details of the lead-acid battery and how we actually operated it, it was clear that we'd run short trips. We'd have an opportunity to recharge after every trip.
Right.
The decision to go for the whole of the battery enables a new development of this later on. You've seen here how you can drive it around with a little side stick controller.
Yes.
Obviously, you could actually drive it yourself.
Right.
So There's a dual mode possibility where you take regular cars, keep them in the garage, you go down to a portal, get on the track, and then it takes you where you want to go.
Right.
Get the other end. You either get out of the station and then it parks itself, or you drive it off to where you want to go.
Right. So I love pods, basically. I mean, look, I've already got the badge.
Yes.
I'm a pod fan.
Absolutely.
And they're so cute. They're kind of really cute, and they're really non-threatening and lovely. But how do they know where they are and what they're doing? I mean, that's the mystery.
It's a bit like how an airport operates. Every pod has its own computer that's driving the pod. But then there's the central control computer, which acts a bit like air traffic control. So it tells each pod when to leave, where to go, and when it should get there.
Right.
And so long as it stays on schedule, everything works perfectly.
And but then can it deal with slight malfunctions or slowness or whatever?
If a vehicle has a problem, it reports back that it's had to slow down for a reason, and then the central control computer can adapt what's going on in the rest of the system to take that into account.
When it's going along the sort of straight, flat road, that's quite easy to understand, but it's that detailed intricacy of getting them in and out of the parking bays is quite complicated.
It is. I mean, we call it choreography because it's like a dance when you see those vehicles moving around each other. But what you've got is, in the central computer's brain, you've got something that looks rather like the conveyor belt at a sushi restaurant.
Right.
And what it's trying to do is to get each vehicle to join up to go onto one of the plates that then moves round the conveyor belt. So it's got to time the movements just right so that each vehicle just gets onto the right slot onto the guideway.
Right, because there could be another one coming round the track behind it, so it's got to be able to get out the way before.
Exactly. Completely by the control system. That's entirely under the central control system, looking ahead and moving that vehicle out just in time for the arriving vehicle to come in fully loaded.
Wow.
When they reschedule the train lines and they decide when a new train is going to be scheduled from London to Edinburgh, so that normally takes people at Network Rail a couple of months to work out all the movements to make sure it all works. The computer here does it every second.
Presumably this is also a fantastic testbed then for that sort of software and that kind of engineering to see, because I'm very intrigued as where it could go next, how you could expand it and extend what you're doing.
Looking long ahead, you know, you look at the possibility of the guideway becoming sort of the platform upon which things operate, a bit like your smartphone is the platform on which applications operate. So if we release the standard by which vehicles should be designed, then maybe anybody could design vehicles that were compatible. You could take that vehicle out of your garage in the morning, drive it towards town, and then when you reached the point at which the network was controlled for the city, you switch over to a centrally controlled system, take your hands off the wheel, and you're away.
Right. And that can regulate things like traffic flow and a lot better.
Exactly. And it's a long way off, but it is theoretically possible. And it's the sort of convergence that you see in technology going on all the time.
Because, I mean, the other thing that I was really thrilled about was that they're electric vehicles that recharge themselves all the time without any complication. I don't think anyone who's ever been in one of these vehicles would have suffered from range anxiety, which is the classic thing.
Exactly. And the whole system is, like you said at the start, it's very friendly. People are very relaxed using it. People tend to say, well, why hasn't this been done before? I've seen it in movies, so it must be possible. And it was interesting. The first time I ever sat in one of these vehicles, many years ago, I was gripping onto the seat for fear.
Right.
Because as an engineer, I knew just how hard it is for the vehicle to be able to do what it's doing.
Right.
But you get a member of the public to sit in the vehicle and they just go,
instantly.
Of course it works.
Yeah.
And they're happy to use the system.
And actually, they're probably not even thinking this car is steering itself and driving along and accelerating to quite high speed.
That's right.
Along a very narrow track, and it can't go, you know.
The technology that delivers it, which is very impressive, is of no consequence to the passenger. They're just enjoying a quiet, gentle ride up to the terminal.
Well, that's brilliant, Mark. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to go and have another ride because you just can't have too much pod, I think, in one day.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much indeed. So, very simple question here when you get off your pod. How was your pod experience today? Very simple answer. It was pretty brilliant. I think this is the most amazing system. It does feel like the future is here today. These things work. They're really amazing. They're electric. They're quiet. They're safe. They're nice and dry inside, and when it's raining like it has been today. What a brilliant thing, and I just want to see it expanded enormously. I want to be able to get in a pod at my house and then go on a 100-mile journey without having to worry about it or think about where I'm going to park the car at the end. So I give it a big, which interestingly, a nice big smiley face there. Interestingly, about 90% of the people that have used the pod have always pressed that button at the end of the day. So that's saying that it's, so far, pretty positive. Love the pods.
Stay tuned for little bits of bendy stuff that keep your gizmos fully charged.